Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 2C TV. This is your global news channel. I'm 2C, and the whole of the Middle East is kicking off as the Houthis from Yemen have finally decided to join the war across the region. The Iraqi militias have now also invaded Iran to help the IRGC and the Islamic occupation forces. The US ground troops have finally arrived, 3,500 of Marines as well as sailors who have now joined the CENTCOM area. We're going to give you guys all the updates. A lot of videos are coming in. Also, the Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi just finished his speech at CPAC, the conference in the United States, and he received a hugely positive reception from the attendees at the Conservative conference. We will also discuss that, but let's firstly go to Tehran, and then we're going to give you guys all the details, because Saudi Arabia are now very, very close to taking military action against the Islamic Republic as well. So that's also kicking off. Obviously, the Saudi side have been talking about this for the past few days in general, but with the latest attack on Prince Sultan's airbase by the IRGC, it seems like Saudi Arabia might have to take some action very soon. Let's first go to the eastern part of Tehran. We're going to get your reaction as well in the live chat. This is in Asadieh, the latest videos. Yeah, so because the IRGC are running low on personnel, at least the professional experienced adults, they had to get, as you guys know, children to get involved to help them. But also now we have militias from Iraq. The Iraqis have now also invaded the Iranian territory. The Houthis have been told, clearly this was some sort of strategy by the IRGC from Tehran. They clearly told the Houthis in Yemen, don't take action immediately at the same time as what we're going to be doing if the war starts. And this is about 3-4 weeks ago. And clearly the indication suggests that the Islamic Republic told the Houthis, you should get involved when we are running low. And now the Houthis from Yemen are also launching rockets. Let's go to CENTCOM first. The US Central Command confirmed. This is a statement we have from them. US sailors and Marines aboard USS Tripoli arrived in the US Central Command area of responsibility. They actually arrived last night. The America-class assault ship is now going to be serving as the flagship for the Tripoli group, and there is also the overall number 3,500 sailors and Marines, in addition to the transport and the strike fighter aircraft, as well as the tactical assets. So it's not just the 3,500 Marines and sailors who are now there. This is in addition to everything else, alongside the strike group that have been deployed. So they are now all in the region on standby. We are also getting, we finally got confirmation of clashes on the ground in Iran. Now this is between the Iranian people and the Islamic Republic. Specifically, this relates to certain groups in the southern parts of the country. But let's talk about the Iraqis, because clearly the IRGC have once again lost the confidence of their own supporters and their own members in Iran. A lot of them have run away to Afghanistan and elsewhere. Hashd al-Shabi, the Iraqi group, the convoys have once again invaded Iran. Now, the last time they did this was 2 months ago in January, when the uprising was happening, and they asked the IRGC asked the Shia groups from Iraq to come into the country and help them. Let's quickly go to the video. So you can see the Iraqi flags alongside the Iranian, the Islamic Republic flags, and their own group flag. Now, this is a huge reinforcement for the IRGC. Clear, obviously, on this channel, we don't just report from one side. We don't just show you guys what the Americans are doing or what the Israelis are doing. We also show the other side. And this is quite impressive. Having said that, the problem with this is that if the huge majority of these guys from Iraq are coming into Iran, as they have, there's a vacuum in Iraq, in the eastern parts of the country, which means that the Americans, with the help of the other side of Iraq, could retake that territory from the Islamic Republic, who have basically been in charge of a chunk of Iraq over the last few years, and nobody's talking about it. The Islamic Republic basically occupied a huge chunk of Iraq, and the international community, the United Nations, and everybody else seem absolutely fine with this. And so these are the same people, as I said, that got involved in January during the protests and the uprising, and they massacred tens of thousands of Iranians on the streets. They went back home, took a break, and now that the IRGC are running low, they were told, can you please come and take control? One of the main reasons for this is not really to help with any sort of launching drones or missiles towards their enemy. This is about two groups. The Iranian people, who would potentially rise up at some point, they need to be there to kill the Iranian people. Secondly, they're still terrified of the prospects of the US ground troops who have now arrived since last night in the region. Now, I'm not really sure what they're going to do with these guys. Are they going to send them to the Khar Island and the other islands? Are they going to station them around the borders, for example, like Bushehr or Azerbaijan in the north? We don't know exactly what their plans are, but I'm assuming that their job will simply be to control the streets, the checkpoints, and patrol the streets, because the IRGC Basij unit have either been killed or they are hiding from the Israeli drones. These guys are absolute crazy people, so they don't really care if they get martyred. They genuinely think they're going to get 72 virgins. A lot of the IRGC Basij members have either been waking up, or they're not really true believers. At the end of the day, these are the guys who were still growing up in Iran, and they might have been brainwashed a little bit, but at the end of the day, they know they're not going to get 72 virgins at the end of the day. But the Houthis, speaking of nutters, the Houthis finally announced, that they are also joining. Well, they have actually officially joined, because they have started launching missiles on Israel. And this is the official statement by the infamous Houthi spokesman, who has an extremely interesting voice. He speaks like this. We, the Houthis, are going to attack. Watch.
في بيان القوات المسلحة اليمنية السابق بشأن التدخل العسكري المباشر دعما وإسنادا للجمهورية الإسلامية في إيران ولجبهات المقاومة في لبنان والعراق وفلسطين، ونظرا لاستمرار التصعيد العسكري واستهداف البنية التحتية وارتكاب الجرائم والمجازر بحق إخواننا في لبنان وإيران والعراق وفلسطين، فإن القوات المسلحة اليمنية بعون الله تعالى وبالتوكل عليه نفذت أول عملية عسكرية، وذلك بدفعة من الصواريخ البالستية، والتي استهدفت أهدافا عسكرية حساسة للعدو الإسرائيلي جنوبي.
Yeah, we can mute it because we got the subtitles anyway. Wow. How is he still alive? To be fair, I'm not convinced. Is he actually AI? Because I thought he died. To be fair, the voice was quite accurate, so I'm not really sure if this was AI. But I mean, it was released officially by the Houthis, so they claim it was him. I thought he died. I'm not sure. But yeah, blah, 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 blah. We're getting involved. Now, moving on from this weirdo, there is, in case you don't know, this is the map to explain the attacks from Yemen, from the southwest towards Israel. Previously, these guys have had a lot of issues when it comes to launching rockets towards Israel, because they tend to hit to the left, southwest of Israel and closer to Egypt. And a couple of times they also hit Jordan accidentally. We are not sure exactly if they have actually improved their aim. But so the Houthis are now involved, which also means that over the next few days, don't be surprised if the Americans and the Israeli fighter jets, who are right next to it, near obviously the Gulf of Oman, if they just do a bit of a break, get in the skies, go towards Yemen, and bomb the S out of the Houthis. It's not really that difficult. You just dismantle the infrastructure that they have again and the ports, and then they will be quiet for another few weeks, few months. But that's not that difficult to deal with. Okay, let's go to Yazd in Iran. We have received the latest video. Apparently, the missile city of the Kustan Park has once again been targeted, I think for the second or third time. Look at that. They have a lot of missiles there. So they've literally built, Area 51. So they basically have an Area 51 version of ballistic missiles cities. And the issue with this is that they are all in mountainous areas and away from residential areas and civilian sites, which means that it's easier to hit them. You just drop everything you have. The only other problem is that they have decided to dig in tunnels and bunker cities. So you're going to have to use a lot of bunker busters to bring it down. And this is why you don't just hit it once. This is, as I said, the second or third time in Yazd that this place has been hit over the last few days. This is the only big issue that we're dealing with when it comes to the IRGC. Whilst the political leadership has fallen apart, whilst the government buildings and military sites have been destroyed, the navy has been reduced massively, you are dealing with a bunch of terrorists who are basically hiding in mountains, caves and tunnels and whatever they have, and you have to basically drag them out. That's the only reason this is still going on, because they manage to keep going into hidings and whatever they have, hiding places, and then, as I always say, the Israelis and the Americans have to play whack-a-mole. Now, the clashes on the ground in Iran have finally been confirmed. Over the last day or two, there has been a couple of videos that have been shared on social media, but with false information, and it's been a lot of fake news. We finally managed to verify this. So there is a video I'm about to show you. People initially started sharing it on social media saying that this is in Isfahan, which is the third largest city in the center of Iran. And the local people in Isfahan are shooting and targeting the IRGC forces. Now, there's a couple of problems with this. The video is real. It is not Isfahan. It is in fact the southeastern parts of Iran in Baluchistan. And this is in the Taftan County. These are the Baluch fighters, Iranian Baluch. And they were successfully ambushed and targeted the Islamic Republic police, not the IRGC.
لكن ننتقل الآن إلى هذه المشاهد التي نتابعها على الشاشة وإياكم الآن مشاهدينا، وهي كما نتابع هجوم فيديو متداول
you can also see the clothing, this Baluch.
في جنوب شرق.
It's definitely not Isfahan. And this is from a few days ago, since the war started. Yeah, the way it was initially reported on social media was that this is this morning and it's in Isfahan. Obviously, it wasn't. This is from a few days ago in Baluchistan in Iran, in southeast Iran. But this is still significant. We are expecting similar things also from the Kurdish parts in Iran and other regions as well. We got a lot of armed militias, armed fighters. Having said that, one thing is for sure, there is a problem with the internet access, obviously. So And a lot of these videos will be delayed. So when they were saying this is this morning, it wasn't this morning. It was actually from days ago. And these are the police officers who were ambushed as part of the Islamic occupation police force, and they have been killed by the Baluch fighters in Iran. Now, let's quickly go to Central Command. The CENTCOM released another video. Yes, we do have the latest video from CENTCOM showing the Americans targeting once again the IRGC naval assets in the southern parts of Iran. Look at this. They're loving this. Another successful day at work for the Americans and, of course, also the Israelis. Okay. Wait, I didn't even notice this. Somebody mentioned something about one of these guys having a unibrow. Oh, wow. Wow. The one on the bottom right. What happened there? Compared to the guy on the left, bottom left, he kind of needed some more eyebrows. But the one on the right took a lot of his eyebrows. Again, sharing is caring. Don't be greedy when it comes to eyebrows. Just give some. And the other one, the one on the left, should give the one on the right some of his facial hair, some of his beard. See, if you share, you won't look that ridiculous. According to Fox, the Kingdom of Saudi have told the Americans that they will be taking military action. Now, so I have to clarify, this is according to Fox, what the Saudi sources have told the American sources to tell Fox. Let's listen to the report.
What I can say is new right now. We're just getting word that the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia says they will join the U.S. in the operation against the Islamic Republic of Iran. They said that this comes in the wake of Iran attacking the U.S. base in Saudi Arabia. I just spoke to a senior U.S. official who said the Iranians made a big mistake by firing on Arab coalition partners. Now they are likely to respond. So by Iran firing missiles at UAE, Bahrain, Qatar, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and Jordan, they are now likely to fire back at Iranian targets. So those coalition partners are now going to enter this operation that started off as a U.S.-Israeli operation. That is very, very significant, and we haven't seen that happen in the past.
Yeah, so again, Saudi Arabia have been talking about this for days, but no action has been taken yet. Bill says, love your enthusiasm. It is a contagious, a free Iran. Greta the goat sounds great. Great work. Where is Greg? Greg is gone. Greg the goat. I'll find him at some point. Giuliani massacring Christians in Homs, Syria. I said that he was not to be trusted. Blah, blah, blah. American military would like to talk to these trucks about their outdated truck warranty. It was also like an advert for Toyota at this point. So bad. Okay, let's quickly go also to the foreign minister of the Islamic Republic, Abbas Araghchi. This absolute delusional clown thinks that we are idiots. Although, again, when the IRGC are doing their propaganda, they are not doing it for you or for me or President Trump. They are doing it for low IQ individuals like Sneeko, like Tucker Carlson, like Piers Morgan and all the others, right? So he came out and in his latest statement, he said that the Americans and the Israelis have blown up 600 schools around the country. And as a result, they have killed over 1,000 students. 1,000 students and teachers. The problem with this, Abbas, is that schools are closed in Iran. There are no students in schools right now. And what we have in schools, the empty buildings, the IRGC military. Let's listen to this idiot.
Distinguished delegates, Shajar Tayyib Elementary School has not been the only casualty of American-Israeli atrocity crimes during the past 27 days of their illegal war. Human rights and international humanitarian law have been massively and systematically violated by the invaders in an unprecedentedly brutal manner. They are targeting civilians and civilian infrastructures with no regard for laws of war and basic principles of humanity and civility. More than 600 schools have been demolished or damaged across Iran, and more than 1,000 students and teachers martyred or wounded as the result.
Oh, not all of them died. I got that wrong. Oh, over 1,000 students, they're not all dead. Some of them are wounded, apparently. Someone actually said, a sinister-looking kid in the live chat, 600 schools and only 1,000 students? Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Considering they just said that they've demolished the schools. They've all been flattened. 600 schools. Somehow, only 1,000. And not all of them are dead. Obviously, it's not true. Schools are closed. And schools are being used as military bases. That's what's happening. He's talking about international law. I mean, the cheeks on his guy. International law. Anyway. Crazy. Where is the... Something happened. More missiles being launched towards southern Israel from Yemen. Okay. And we will go live to Israel soon. We have just received information that an assassination attempt has been carried out by the Israelis in Tehran. We don't know who's been killed, but this was a targeted attack by the IDF. So we will get more information probably in the next few hours or in the next day. They will eventually confirm who has been either killed or at least wounded, because sometimes they survive the assassination attempts. The IRIB, the Islamic Republic State Media, they have a producer, the TV producer. In case you don't know, in Iran, it's sort of like in Gaza at this point. When you're a journalist, you're not just a journalist, because you're so skillful that you can multitask. Yeah. When you're a journalist, you're also a terrorist. So there is a TV producer whose job is to do production and TV, Mojtaba Amini. Somehow, after work, he finished his job doing production. He decided to go on the streets with a small group of IRGC members to do a tiny rally, and he promised. He said, just wait until the war is over. We will unskin you. He was addressing the Iranian people. And also anybody, including celebrities, who have not been defending the regime. Let's go to the idiot.
ما با شما کار داریم. ما بعد این جنگ با شما کار داریم.
Oh, they got business.
این مملکت رو ران تو هزار موضوع، هزار کافه و رستوران و بنگاه و توتون و دستک برای خودتون رو درست که الان نشستید کوچه که گوزین این برکاری کنید. پوستتون رو میکنید.
That was a perfect example of the religion of peace. Oh, I'm sorry. The religion of pieces. You will be unskin you. I got so excited. Watch this moment when he said it. They sound like the zombies in Resident Evil 9. Anyway. We also have big announcement. I forgot. Do you remember the guy I showed you a couple of weeks ago after the death of Ali Khamenei and the other leaders and Ali Larijani? There is a man whose job is to basically hold these funerals and memorials, right? And his job, literally gets paid to do this. He's a performer and he gets the crowd to mourn and to cry. His job is to make them cry. So he talks about the person who's dead, right? Oh, Ali, he was so brave. And then everybody cries. Remember him in the video? He sits down and everybody is basically sitting on the floor. And his job is to make people cry. And they also do the same every Friday in mosques. They do, we can't believe Momo died. Yes, he did 1400 years ago, darling. And big news. His name was Mehdi Rasuli and he is slightly dead. Yes, he's been killed. He did not survive. This is the guy. Remember his face? Yeah, he's dead now. And he was also the one who, when he was making everybody cry, at one point he himself was laughing. Not really sure what that means, but so he's now also been eliminated. He's what we call an Islamic reciter. He, you know, people like him also memorize the whole of Quran, which means a very specific thing. Most people who are born into Islamic families and Islamic cultures, they have not actually read the whole of Quran. I can assure you. We've got millions and millions and millions of people out there, right? They learn about Islam through their parents and their teachers and their imams. And they basically just say, yeah, we have a good religion. It's very peaceful. Religion of peace, blah, blah, blah. Unless you see a Jew, then yeah. And if you read the book, if you read the whole thing, and if you still agree with it, then it's on you. People like him read the whole thing and they memorized it, every single word. There have been a lot of people who are born into Islamic families, Islamic cultures. The moment you tell them to actually read the whole thing, when they read it, when they do their own research, they realize, oh wait, this is slightly different to what we were told as kids by our parents, by our teachers. When you read the whole thing, and one of the reasons that people in Iran, especially the younger generation, and also people from slightly my generation, anybody after 1979, even though the Iranian population were not necessarily Muslim anyway, but back in the day, they would have said, yeah, culturally, but they don't even think about religion in that sense, but they would have been considered, yeah, you're in a Muslim culture. Since 1979, when the Islamic Republic started to push Islam down your throat, they made a big mistake. They told people to start reading it. Whoopsie. So one of the reasons you see everybody in Iran, well, right now the percentage of people who are practicing Muslims, is about 30%. And 5% are IRGC. So 5% are crazy. And the rest of them are just like, oh yeah, well, I'm a Muslim. It's about 25%. The rest of the population, one of the main reasons that they do not consider themselves as Muslim, not necessarily that they were Muslim, but maybe back in the day they didn't even think about it, is because they read it. We were all forced to read it. So when you read it, you realize, yeah, this is slightly dangerous. Also, it makes no sense. The chapters, the verses, the order is all over the place. None of it makes any sense. It's nonsensical. And it's slightly violent. So if you read the whole thing and you still decide to support it, then yeah, it's on you. Can't really do anything about that. It's just psychologically it's part of who you are as a person. If you've been brainwashed and you've been told it's a good ideology, then yeah, you've just been tricked. But if you still by choice do your research, then that's on you. Anyway, let's go back to the latest video from Tehran. This is last night, the video from the early hours of this morning, about 3 a.m. And this actually shows the Iranian people from their houses chanting, "Long live the king." And on the streets, the IRGC Basij shooting at buildings, residential buildings, shooting at windows, which we've shown you over the last few days. Anyway, this is another one. Long live the king. Yeah. Now, over the last few hours, we now can go to the United Arab Emirates because they have released the latest on their defense system against the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Here we go. In the last 24 hours, the Ministry of Defense in the United Arab Emirates have announced that air defenses have engaged 20 ballistic missiles and 31 suicide drones, the Shahed drones, launched from Iran. That brings a total of projectiles fired at the UAE to 2,285 since 28th of February, the start of Operation Epic Fury. Also 15 cruise missiles, and but it's crazy, absolutely insane. They haven't really launched many cruise missiles in the last few days towards UAE and the Arab countries. It's mostly been drones and then ballistic missiles, but you can see it's just a handful now. It's difficult to actually see what they are doing or what their strategy is, how they're feeling right now in the IRGC, considering that they have now had to beg the Houthis in Yemen to get involved. They've had to beg the Iraqis to come and invade their own country. So also asking the Houthis for backup, it's not really, obviously it's a desperate attempt, but it's also not really the most reliable thing to do, because the Houthis are not very good at, well, life. They still use fax machines. But I'm not really sure what they're going to be doing. They are still launching all the missiles towards Israel, and the Israelis are intercepting them. And of course, the other allies in the region. But the Arab countries continue to get hit. Again, you only see a handful of missiles and drones being launched, but they are still doing it. And we can also now go to Oman. Oman has been hit. The one country that only had, I think, 1 or 2 drones being launched at it over the last month or so. But the port of Salalah in Oman has now been hit by 2 drones. Again, apparently one foreign worker has been injured and 1 crane has been damaged. This is in Oman. Now, Oman was one of the few countries left that was still trying to help the Islamic Republic. It's going to make it very, very difficult for these guys to continue to support the IRGC. They're still going to do it because they're a bunch of simps. But that's why neither side decided to go to Oman over the last week when we started getting all these rumors about a week and a half ago, that, oh, well, it's over now because the Islamic Republic and President Trump are now talking. There is now a ceasefire, and also apparently President Trump has picked the next leader. He's talking to the Speaker of Parliament, Ghalibaf, and I kept sitting here. I was like, stop falling for the lies of both the legacy media and social media fake news hacks. Everybody calm down. Nothing is happening as we speak. But even then, they had to go and ask Pakistan to mediate. Pakistan, of all places. The IRGC burned the bridges. The Americans technically also burned the bridges with Oman. Qatar doesn't want to do anything anymore. And there's nobody else left. It's just Pakistan. And Pakistanis are slightly frustrated because they have a defense pact with Saudi Arabia. Now, they're in a bit of a pickle. Saudi Arabia, on a diplomatic level, they basically launched the war. They haven't actually taken military action yet. Oh, they keep talking about it for days and days, right? We're going to take military action. But Pakistan cannot defend the Islamic Republic while they are still in a military pact with Saudi Arabia. They were actually complaining about it earlier today, saying, yeah, there's a lot of money between Pakistan and Saudi. But we only joined the defense pact for deterrence, but it seems like things are kicking off. Yeah, if Pakistan leaves, then they're going to be in bigger trouble. Let's also go to Bahrain, moving on from Oman. Bahrain also faced fresh waves of IRGC missiles and drones overnight. An oil facility in Bahrain was hit. We're trying to gather more information about the level of damage. Let's see. There's a situation in Iran as we speak. Hang on. That's when it hit. Yeah, this is what the Pakistanis said. They told FT, Financial Times, that the Saudi pact is becoming a problem for us. It was supposed to be cash for deterrence, but we've not gotten any new Saudi investment, and deterrence failed. They're trying to find excuses to basically leave the defense pact. There is also a situation as we speak over the last few minutes in northern Israel. Hezbollah from Lebanon have started launching rockets towards the Israelis. I'm going to take you quickly to Israel, and then most of them are being also there's a situation in the south as well. This is it's coming from Iran. Okay, let me just get this ready for you guys. Both northern Israel and southern Israel is getting hit as we speak. Interceptions are happening, of course. Give me a second. First, we're going to go to the south. I need to double check this. Don't want to accidentally give you fake news. Hang on. Is that south or north? Okay. Where is the... Yep. Okay, hang on. Let's quickly confirm this. Yeah, we're going to first go to the northern part of Israel. Just a quick heads up, in case there is a siren sound, if you're watching from the Middle East, especially Israel, maybe turn it down. Although you probably already had the sirens, especially if you're in the north. This is the northern part of Israel. 5 minutes ago, attacks coming from Lebanon. What is that? There we go.
תראה באמא, וואו! פוצץ, עוד אחד! וואו, תראה כמה, אחי! יואו! תראה כמה, מפגר! בוא, זה מעלינו, יפצו! לא, זה לא מעלינו, איפה, מה יש לך? די, אל תקיץ אנשים, אחי, יש פה ילדים קטנים. וואו, תראה איזה מתח, אנחנו מניוקי, אחי. אמא לי, אחי. עכשיו תשמע עוד איזה 6, אתה יודע. יואו, תראה מה יש בשמיים. וואו, אחי, זה לא פה. הנה יכולים לצלח, יפוצים מעלינו. הוא לא שם. וואו, ינון, איזה מוגזם. הנה, יפוצים מעלינו. לא להתרחק מהחיים המוגנים. יואו, ינון, ראית? אמא לי, אחי. זה לא מעלינו, וואי. יהודים בסביבתנו מתבקשים להישמר.
Okay, so this was the IRGC's Hezbollah wing from Lebanon launching rockets. We're now going to go to the southern parts of Israel, where the IRGC missiles have been targeting the civilian areas. Interceptions happening. Okay, so let me double check a couple of things. First, we have some reactions here, and then we have some footage from Tehran as well. The bombardment of the capital. Target-rich environments. Bill says, how would an IRGC defect? To whom would he live? Well, we've had a lot of them defecting already. So what they basically do is they put down their arms and they refuse to follow orders, and they just go into hiding until the whole thing calms down. Is Goldie the goat still with you today? It's not Goldie, it's Greg. His name is Greg. Where is Greg? I have to get Greg. Greg the goat. We bring him out when we have major eliminations and assassinations in Iran. Let's go to the latest footage from Tehran, and then we return. This is a... This is a Nobaniyat. She says that she's heard 10 explosions so far. Yeah, the sky is red. She says, long live the king. And then she has a message for the Americans and the Israelis. She says, hit them, hit them. The Iranian people are loving this. There's been a lot of people who have also had war watch parties from their balconies and the rooftops, where they basically have drinks and they just watch the strikes by the Americans and the Israelis. They feel so confident, obviously, that the Americans and the Israelis don't target civilians in Iran, that they could just watch the strikes. Now, Hezbollah. Oh, yeah, don't forget about them. They're also very important, guys. The idiots in Lebanon have released this footage showing the IDF's armored personnel carrier, the APC, getting targeted in the town of Taiba in the southern parts of Lebanon. Apparently they used an FPV drone, and they seem to be very proud of this. And yeah, I think they also used their anti-tank rockets. Considering that they've seen what the IDF and CENTCOM continue to do. They release the daily videos of their successful hits, right? And the difference is when the Israelis and the Americans release this sort of footage, is a collection of many positions and many targets getting hit. Hezbollah managed to hit something. It's like, we got to film that. We got to post it on Instagram, guys. Take a selfie. Let's be proud. So well done. Crazy idiots. Let's go to the Majid Street in Tehran as well. Watch the latest footage. I think this is in the early hours of this morning, and then we're going to double check a few things.
تركون يا امام الزمان.
Right. There is a statement from the President of the Islamic Republic. I'm just going to verify this quickly, because it's insane. Another one. It's crazy. Situation in Tehran. Okay, we have this confirmed. We're going to go to the so-called President of the Islamic Republic of Iran, Abbas Araghchi. He has now said, it is unfortunate that the territories of some Muslim countries are being used to attack Iran. The Zionist entity intends to expand the war to countries in the region, and these countries must be cautious. Now, I'm going to ask you, ladies and gentlemen, do you see a problem with this statement? So Abbas, Masoud Pezeshkian, the president of the regime that decided to make a political choice from day one and started hitting the same so-called Muslim countries in the region. Nobody else was doing anything. The Americans or the Israelis or even the French, right? Nobody was doing anything when it comes to the Arab countries in the region. It was the IRGC that expanded the war across the region. Apparently, according to the president of the Islamic Republic, it's actually the Israelis, it's the Jews. They want to expand it towards the region. And the Arabs, Muslim brothers, we're on your side. Be careful, because the Jews have a plan. It's just crazy. Absolutely crazy. Anyway, let me quickly take you to CPAC. Over the last hour or so, we had the Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi making an address. We will try to get the full speech. Unfortunately, we were not able to have our live camera and live feed from there. Otherwise, we would have shown you the live coverage itself. There were some technical issues, but we will get the footage. And for now, I'm going to show you the entrance. And there is a very specific moment in the speech that the whole crowd at CPAC went crazy. Look at the reception. That's Noor, Princess Noor. And then at the end of his speech, he brought up the Trump slogan of "Make America Great Again," and of course, "Make Iran Great Again."
President Trump is making America great again. I intend to make Iran great again.
Yeah, great reception in the US at CPAC. And let's quickly go to Beirut. We are expecting retaliation from the Israelis on this city and where the Hezbollah positions are located. And there is also, I think we are waiting for our live feed from Israel. But for now, we have lost that, which is not good. I'll get that covered shortly. There's a few things over here. Heather says, shout out to the boys at Square Body in Iran, the only Square Body Chevy Blazer Group body shop in Iran, from a fellow Chevy lover in Maine, USA, says Heather. The Houthis are like a fly, very annoying, but very dumb. The IRGC are on their last legs if they are relying on their proxies. They had a chance. They literally had a chance earlier in the week to basically surrender and do these fake negotiations with the Americans to at least stop the war. They now have a different strategy, and I can basically guess. They do know that President Trump doesn't want to stay and continue this war forever. And so they believe that as long as we could just about survive, then when the strikes are finished, we can regroup. That's the only hope that they have, right? The only problem is that they have to then deal with the Iranian people. And that's why they have today brought in the Iraqis into Iran so that they could help with the battles on the ground, the street battles. Because obviously the Iranian people have been told not to come out on the streets now because there are strikes happening. The moment the strikes are finished, because then eventually the strikes have to finish anyway, you can't just continue to strike them. And that's when the battles will take to the streets. If these idiots continue to poke the bear the IRGC provoking the Americans and the Israelis, don't be surprised if they actually do decide to use the ground troops to, for example, take an island. There are, as I've explained over the last week, there are different options in terms of military strategy why you could consider taking Kharg Island, which is mostly about oil, or the other islands, including Abu Musa, which is closer to the Strait of Hormuz. That's a whole different game. Or you could just continue to hit the Navy and by default reopen the Strait of Hormuz, which is not even officially closed, but yeah. All those Iraqi troops driving to Iran to help the IRGC, will they all gather at the same parking lot once they arrive in Iran? Yeah, but somebody should trick the IRGC to do a big rally with all the Iraqis in one place. Just hit them all. Fortunately, that's not how it works. Why is it you only hear about older people being officials? What about the young people officials? Young people officials? What is this, Hitler Youth? Yeah, you're dealing with a bunch of backwards, barbaric weirdos, right? They are not just sexist. They are not just also racist against anybody. That's not them. They are also ageist. You think these guys trust the younger generation to help? And so they use the younger generations to, be the human shield and be suicide bombers or whatever. But they're not going to give them high-ranking jobs. My God, it became a man to meet us where we are, and then died by his own hands, and then resurrected. Whose God is greater? Oh, it's about Allah. Have you read about Momo's night with Momo? I love how my version of Muhammad's name is becoming infamous. Yeah. Why in the map the parenthesis is Arabian Gulf? Yeah. If you all could send a mass complaint letter or email or fax to the Google headquarters and tell them to change what's on Google Maps, that would be great, because of course the screenshot we showed you from Google Maps says Persian Gulf underneath Arabian Gulf. Like, since when? We have a self-appointed expert saying, I'm still not convinced Trump will not tackle out. These are the same people who said Trump will never hit. The idea was always for the US, President Trump, to send help. And the idea was never from day one for the Americans to rebuild Iran or change regimes themselves. The strikes have to end at some point. Obviously not yet, because you still have to reduce the strength of the regime. But eventually you kind of need the next step, which will be the armed forces and the Iranian people to take control of their country. So that is not tackling out. That should be the case. That should be the scenario. But a lot of people don't understand how the military strategy works, especially when it comes to a country like Iran. So they think it's like a video game. That's not really how it works. Vahid Online Telegram has non-stop reporting on US and Israeli targeting. Love your show, Tusi. P.S. Persian women are hot out here in San Diego. Classic. Mosh Cohen says, yesterday Hezbollah posted the best ad for trophy system. They literally posted an AT interception that also showed the tank driving away. Thanks, I guess. They're not very good at propaganda videos. The YouTube word censorship is crazy. Too hard to use SC. They all drive Toyotas. The things falling from sky will stop this. Sorry for the asterisk. Yes, I know. Keep telling me to edit my message. It gives me goosebumps that we finally have some great leaders in the world. Javid Shah, Netanyahu, and Trump. That makes it sound like his first name is Javid, his last name is Shah. Javid Shah means long live the king. It's Reza Pahlavi. Thank you, Tusi, for educating the confused. No problem. There was a comment. I've lost it now. Hang on. Kevin says, so impressed with Tusi TV, showing the true news. Keep doing what you do. Hope your dad is safe. Me too. I haven't heard from him in a couple of days, I think now. Yesterday, 2 days ago. He actually called during the live stream. And be careful because Goldie banned you if you call her sexy. Why would you do that to yourself? Also, isn't... let me check. What day is this? I don't know what day it is. What? It's the 28th. Hang on. I believe... Anyway, I got confused. Let's have a look at the rest of the reactions. I'm just going to check a couple of things before we continue, because Ghalibaf is going crazy. The Speaker of Parliament in Iran. Okay, we have the latest video finally from northern Iran. This is the Parchin military complex. Let's quickly get this ready for you guys, and then we have some more responses, I think. Let's go to the northern parts of Iran with the latest footage. I don't know if this is the Israelis or the Americans hitting the Parchin. There we go. This is the latest. Let me just double check if this is... well, they're saying it's a joint attack. It's probably the Israelis. The Americans have been fully focusing on the naval bases today. And there is also the next one that we have now. From, I think, the same area. Yeah, let's go. Just checking something. Apparently, it's Goldie's birthday. What? I didn't know. Yeah, Matthew says, happy birthday, Goldie. Well, happy birthday, Goldie Ramari. I will send you a birthday present, which will be the counter prank that I've been preparing. I think you deserve it. Happy birthday. I've noticed the IRGC leaders have gone from grey beard to greyish to black. So I can't grow a beard if I tried. It's because the ages are going down. Anyway, Pahlavi is king of Iran. Jesus is king of kings. And another one as well. Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to take a break and find out what's going on in Tehran in the next couple of hours. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm Maya Tusi, and we are the media.